Hey everybody, it's the Pedal Guy here, and today we're going to talk about something besides pedals. We're going to talk about this groovy guitar, and this is from Fesley. Now, throughout the years on my YouTube channel, I have actually never done a paid review. I've been asked several times, and I've always passed on it just because, well, at the time it just didn't seem like the right fit for me at that particular moment in time. But Fesley approached me, and they've been extremely patient because I've actually had this guitar for quite a while now, and I just have not gotten around to shooting a video because anybody who follows my channel knows pretty much how busy I am these days. But in any case, I want to thank the guys at Fesley and for their patience, and also for this groovy little beginner's guitar. So what we've got here is we've got a Strat copy here, obviously, and this is in pink, which of course, you know, people know I love to play pink guitars. And it's a very nice configuration of humbucker single coil. It's got a multi-position pickup selector, volume, tone, and it does have a tremolo arm as well, and it does come with a gig bag. And I believe this is an Amazon-only product, and I think it retails for about $159 or so. So in this video, I'm going to be taking it from the perspective of the beginner, because is this a guitar for professionals? Probably not. Is this a guitar for beginners? Oh yeah, you bet. So I'm going to give you some audio examples, and then I'm going to go ahead and give you a few opinions of my own, what I like, what I don't like, just to give you the most objective opinion. So let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, so I'm plugged into my modeler here, and I'm on a clean amp setting, and I'm in the bridge position, so let's just have a quick listen. And then if I move to the neck position here, it's got that nice stratty tone to it. So yeah, it's got a nice roundy tone to it. I like that. And you could probably hear a little bit of that going on in the background. There is a little bit of noise coming off the pickups. And I talked to Fesley about that, and they're aware of it. My feeling is it's probably a little bit of a grounding issue, so a couple minutes of your time will get this going. But again, try to remember it is a beginner's guitar, right? It's not an advanced player's guitar. And even on advanced player guitars, we still get noise. So for 159 bucks, again, you know, that's a heck of a value. And if we just try, you know, even a little bit of modulation on this. It sounds, you know, really decent. And even if you tried like some of the Floyd stuff there. Well, I got it pretty close there. But in any case, these are also the strings that come included with the guitar. So I didn't change the strings. Everything you're hearing is coming right from the Fesley itself. And if I move up to, like, say, something with like a, you know, a little more grunge to it, a little more amplification to it, a little more gain, like say a Soldano amp, so we get a little more dirt. I mean, that's a pretty nice, solid sound. If I, you know, put a little delay and reverb on that too, just to fill it out. So let's talk about a couple of the other things here. So you've got your tone control, so you can switch to other positions with the pickups. You can get a nice throaty sound to it. In fact, let me go back to that jazzy tone there. So if you try like some of my little chord progressions that you've probably heard me and see me playing. But let's go back up to that soldano again and give you kind of a nice little sound there. It is a really nice solid sound. So those humbuckers do sound pretty decent, especially when you play like really large open chords. I know you guys have probably heard that riff a million times. That was just something I was messing around with one day, and I just thought it sounded pretty cool. But, you know, even if you play like some of the oldies but goldies, like, you know, maybe Bad Company sort of sound. Well, kind of close, but still, maybe Holy Water. Now, trying to just talk about the tuning of it really fast. So keeping it in tune hasn't actually been all that difficult. And that's one of the things I do kind of give it props for, is that I did really smack the strings when I was really starting to work with this, and I didn't have any huge problems with it, frankly. So that was a good, pleasant surprise. Truthfully, I haven't plugged in the whammy bar yet to see what that would bring about, but that's because I need to, you know, set everything back up here in the back of the unit. But that kind of gives you a good idea of what this guitar is really about. It really does sound decent. Okay, so that gives you kind of a good idea of what this guitar is all about. Now, as far as like things that I like about this guitar, well, obviously you heard the sound is pretty solid. Now, I will say that yes, you do need to probably check the grounding a little bit, because you could run into some of those problems. I've run down it and in my system here, and frankly, yeah, it's more or less it's a grounding issue, I think, and. But it only takes a couple of minutes really to diagnose the problem and then fix it. So it shouldn't take that much longer to do. Now, so the sound is good. I think the build quality overall is really good. I mean, it's a very light guitar. It's not a heavy guitar in any way. So any beginner can pick this up. It's got a nice maple fretboard here, and I think that's cool. But here's something that does bother me just a tad here, which are the frets. And the frets have definitely not been shaved down too much on the edges there. So some of the edges are a little sharp. Again, can be fixed quite easily. But for a beginner, again, there's that moment where you have to say, okay, well, what am I willing to accept? What am I not willing to accept? And that's just something to keep in mind. And the last one is, and this is more of a petty thing, more than anything for me, that I didn't like about it were these knobs. Okay, so you can see that the knob right here is actually a little higher off the volume, the volume pot here. And the reason being is because I had to take the bloody thing off so that I could fix a little loose pot down there at the bottom. And most guitars that I've ever used always had like an Allen key there on the side, but Fesley decided to do this grippy sort of pot knob here, and I'm not really into that, because it actually took because it was so tight on there, it actually took a pair of pliers to get it off there. So there's a nice little scratch there on the side. But I have brought all of this up to Fesley, and they absolutely you know, are very responsive to me, and they've been very cool and kind about it and said, yes, we are aware of a couple of these issues and we're sorting it out. But if you go on their site these days, you'll see that there's now a Les Paul copy sort of guitar and all of that. So I think that they're progressing onward and upwards, and I think that's good for them. But in any case, that is the Fesley guitar, the Fesley Strat here. This is the deluxe edition. I think it plays quite well for the money. Again, at $159, knowing what else is out there, this is not a bad choice of guitars to play. And I think having the gig bag in there is really nice, having a whammy bar in there is really nice. So I think a player could get several years of use out of this before they upgrade it to something bigger and better. But in any case, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, just use the comment section below, and we'll see you down the road.